first off, AI is already moving, right? Everybody, I know I use it every day as it relates to scheduling, as it relates to if it's an idea. Sometimes I'll run the idea by and say, flesh this out for me. How does this look in the next 5 months? How does this look in the next year? And then AI will give me a projection based off of the questions that I gave it, right? Well, this is the issue. We don't own ChatGPT. We don't own I can't remember the Morris or Mojave. I can't remember the name of the other AIs, but we don't own it. So, and this is what I was thinking with ChatGPT. I was like, in the event that I give it some sauce and the sauce is $1 million or $1 billion idea, who is to say that a big corporate machine can't say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick that little piece and that right there, maybe another billion. And there could be an idea that's in our head that we ran by the AI, but we don't own the rights to it. So that means we automatically signed up for whatever happens on that platform. Another back to back, the repeats going back to back. You know what I mean? Welcome to another episode of the Lucrative podcast. I am your host, the one and only Magnedo7 in the building. What up? This is episode 205. God dang. Yo, what up, everybody? What up? Yo, 200. You know what? I'm always amazed that I'm able to keep these things going because I ain't gonna front. Doing it live is a whole different vibe. It's a whole different vibe. Whole different vibe. So everybody on Twitch, what up? Everybody on Instagram, what up? Everybody on Facebook, what up? Everybody on YouTube, what up? Am I missing? Oh yeah, we're not on TikTok this morning. Everybody that would be watching this on TikTok, I'm sorry, it's a whole different time. I got a whole different setup. So and TikTok wouldn't let me stream today. So anyway, it is what it is. This episode is brought to you by Safe Tires. Safe Tires in Tucker, Georgia. If you need some tires for your car, you need a tune-up, you need a oil change, you need tires rotation, whatever you need, go over there to Safe Tire Auto and tell them Magnedo7 sent you from the Mad Lucrative podcast, right? So look, we're going to jump straight in this morning. I got a few little things that happened, not too much. I am actually on call. So everybody knows they got real jobs, they got regular jobs. Y'all know how it is. Like, you got to figure out a way to strategize your time, right? So one thing I did learn this week, and this is in my 41-year-old space, right? One thing I learned, I had the Riz. I learned I had the Riz, right? Now I ain't gonna front. I did not know what Riz was. I was like, what is Riz? I asked all of my youngins, I said, what is Riz? I was talking to somebody and just on some business stuff, like talking about certain things they could start doing, maybe to beef up their presence on socials. And I said, this is how I feel about this. And they say, yo, you got the Riz. And I was like, I don't know what that is. What is the Riz? What is the Riz? So I posed the question, and y'all know me. If I don't know something, I'm gonna go down the whole rabbit hole of trying to figure out what it is. So I posted the question on Threads. I ain't get too many people to respond on that. So then I posted the question on my stories, and everybody in the stories was responding. I said, okay, I got it now. I do got the Riz. I got the Riz. I'm Rizzy. I'm the Rizziest. I'm Mr. Rizza. But anyway. What up, Big Frank Mello? What up? So today I got a few things to talk about. The first thing I want to bring up is IG Maps. IG Maps, listen, they did it again. So me and IG have had a love-hate relationship this week. I first went live on IG. This was probably Wednesday, and I was talking about some things that was happening with AI. And one of the companies that sent me an email and was saying, yo, we want you to produce some music for us. Yo, please, all my producers, please share this because it is about to get nasty. What happened? Oh, Lord Jesus. Do we want to start there? We want to start there. Yeah, we're going to start there. All right, so I went live, right? And I am live on IG right now. They might kill this live once I start talking the way I'm talking. But I got other platforms. Go to YouTube, the Mad Lucrative podcast on YouTube, Mad Lucrative podcast everywhere. But anyway, So I got an email earlier this week, and I think this was Monday. No, I got the email Friday. I sent them an email back by Monday just to respond, talk to a lawyer, talk to all these other people. So the email says, we want you to produce with us. And then it said collaboration. It said this company plus sign Magnedo7. So I said, okay. I'm like, I like getting money. I like getting money. I do. I like to get money. So once I start to read, I'm gonna go ahead and expose the company. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Suno. It was Suno. It was. It was. So all my producers, if you're watching this right now, see the Denzel finger. If you're watching this right now, please stay here. Listen in. So the email said, look, we want you to produce some music for us, and we really love your presence on social. We think you're creative, all this stuff, right? And the dollar amount, which will be, I won't say the dollar amount, but the dollar amount was a good amount. It was a decent amount for producing music, something I'm going to do already anyway, something I'm going to do anyway. So I looked, sent it to a lawyer friend of mine. They said, I don't know. And these were the questions. These are the same questions I pose every week. Every time, anytime we get into the production bag, or we get into the bag of talking about content creation, or we get in the bag of talking about who owns the rights to publishing and all that stuff, right? It's always the same thing. It goes back to the same common denominator. Who owns the rights? Who owns the rights to this stuff after you do whatever you do, right? So I'm reading through the email. The email says, and I would pull it up, but I think it's something legal where I can't do that. But I could just kind of go through a brief summary of it. So the email says, we want you to produce 20 to 30 beats for the month. And if you want to keep on doing it, we could do this every month, and we'll pay you this same dollar amount plus commission if you bring other producers. I said, ooh, that game is cold. It's cold. So the further I read down in the email, it said there's no need. There it is. My chair wouldn't snap up. I want my back to be up. I want my back to be upright. I don't want to be slouching. I ain't do all my cardio this week. But anyway, I'm reading through it, and it's telling me that you get your commissions if you bring other producers on, and there is no need for you to post any of the beats that you produce for us. So I said, wait. You don't, okay, wait. Let me, cause see what normally happens, like y'all see me, a lot of the people that actually follow the podcast, y'all will see me do an ad, or y'all see me do some type of presentation on behalf of a company, like the tool company I made the beats out of. That is a sponsorship. They sponsored that particular episode of the podcast. So if I will make beats with certain things or certain equipment, more than likely they sponsored the pod, right? So I'm like, cool. This time, oh yeah. In addition to that, normally I have to give some type of deliverable. You got to post 3 videos, especially if the dollar amount is good. You got to post 3 videos doing your normal piece of content within your space with our product, right? So if I were to say, y'all, I don't know how many people know this bottle, but if I would say, I got this bottle and I'm gonna make a beat out of this bottle, all right? Normally, I'm gonna probably have to post something with that bottle, especially if the dollar amount is good. How y'all tell me not to post? You told me to not post the music that I produce for you, and don't record. You don't want me to record the video of it. So I'm like, what are y'all paying me for? So then I said, all right, forget it. You know, I'm gonna send an email, send it to the lawyer. A friend of mine called me. What was this? Wednesday, a friend of mine called me Wednesday. It was blowing me up. I said, okay, what's going on? Blowing me up. Bam, 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 bam. Back to back. Yo, I need to talk. Something crazy just happened. And it just kept hitting me. I was like, okay, something, either that sounds like somebody died or something like that, right? Or something real, real serious that's happened for you to keep calling me, for a dude to keep calling another dude back to back to back to back like that. I said, all right. I said, give me a minute because I'm at work. I'm going to hit you up in about an hour or so. All right. So I hit him up. He says, bro, and keep in mind, I had not told this friend nothing about Suno reaching out to me about producing music. I ain't said nothing about it, right? I just was like, yeah, I said, you know, it's some crazy stuff. Hey, I automatically I expect every company to try to get over on artists. I expect every company to try to get the best bang for their buck, but it's up to us to make sure we negotiate what needs to be negotiated to get all of our money, right? That's how I look at it. I expect it. But on this level, it's this all producers. This is a whole nother level. If they have not reached out to you, they probably will be reaching out to you very soon. Right? So anyway, he calls me. Well, I call him back. He says, "Well, bro," he said, "Man, you know what happened?" I said, "Nah, what's good?" He said they booked the session for me at a well-known studio in Florida. I'm not gonna say the name of the studio, but y'all, this is one of them studios that's known for making them hits. Like this is just one of those. It's a big like Hit Factory, the big joints. This is a big studio. They booked the session for him, and they said, "Hey, we just want you to come in and write some songs." Now, this person that I'm talking about has did some stuff with like Neo. He's done some stuff for a lot of people, like written. His pen game is crazy. His his pen is phenomenal. But he's used to people wanting to have him come in the studio, write a song or two, and say, "All right, we don't know if this is gonna go to Beyonce. This is gonna go to Neo. This joint go from Neo to Beyonce. We don't know what it's gonna be, but come in and write." That's normal. We normally expect that. But this particular time, it got nasty. I wish I had a bomb right there. It got nasty. What he said happened was he went to the studio and they said, "Well, we don't really need you to sing a song or write a song per se. We just want you to sing to certain melodies in different styles of music." So he was like, "Okay, for this dollar amount?" And this is a 12-hour session. The dollar amount was pretty good. The average, I'll say it like this. The average person, if they would have saw that number, they would have jumped for it because it was a good enough number to be in the studio, right? And it's I'm gonna say this over 1,000. It's over 1,000 to be in the studio to write a song for somebody. Over. All right, so he says, wait. So you want me to sing? And this is how it gets nasty. Cause my email kind of resembled the same thing, but I think it'll be a little bit different because I do have the Magnedo7 brand. A lot of people know me for hip hop beats. A lot of people know me for doing the stuff with M and doing the stuff with 50. A lot of people know me for that style of music. So it's kind of a little bit difficult for me to do what they were asking him to do. But what they asked him to do is say, sing in country. All right, now after you sing a song in country, sing a song in pop. All right, after you sing a song in pop, sing a song in R&B. After you do that, and then we're gonna do different types of R&B. We're gonna do R&B soul. We're gonna do Chris Brown type of R&B. We're gonna do the SZA type of R&B. We just want you to sing in different styles of music, and then we're good. So he's like, wait, okay, all right. So why do you want me to do this? And what they're talking about is pulling the wool. Hey, they're talking about having him train AI on how he does his music. Now, keep in mind, like I told you, his pen game is ridiculous. He's been in the studio with some of the biggest of the best, right? But they want him to use his pen and his voice style to train AI. And what was going to happen was in the contract, they were going to use the metadata, and well, not metadata, the DNA, I think is digital DNA. I think that's what they called it. They're going to use the digital DNA to show people how to not it's never show people. They're just gonna put his stuff on their platform, and then now everybody in the world can start to use his stuff. So if you know, so I can't. Y'all remember, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. The producer, that blew up Timbaland for using Suno for taking the beat. If y'all could put it in the chat, I can't remember the dude's name. I can't remember his name right now, but the way that Timbaland threw Buddy's beat inside of Suno, that's what they're doing to all of these folks stuff, right? So I'm just fast tracking it in real time. I'm saying, okay, if I were to produce some music for Suno, and then and this I don't know if they might be watching. If they are watching, I'm sorry. It is what it is. The gig is up. Now, cause this is how I look at it. This is how I look at it. At some point, I think legislation and all these other companies and all these the power players, at some point they will be pulling anybody's content and using it to train AI at some point. If they're not already doing it, they're going to do it. We are already going to have it signed off on. It's going to be in the terms of agreement. Go y'all go watch the Black Mirror episode. It's a white girl. I think it's called Joan or Disrespectful Joan or something like that. Y'all go watch that episode of Black Mirror. I think that's where we're going, right? I think that's where we're going. First off, AI is already moving, right? Everybody, I know I use it every day as it relates to scheduling, as it relates to if it's an idea. Sometimes I'll run the idea by and say, flesh this out for me. How does this look in the next 5 months? How does this look in the next year? And then AI will give me a projection based off of the questions that I gave it, right? Well, this is the issue. We don't own ChatGPT. We don't own I can't remember the Morris or Mojave. I can't remember the name of the other AIs, but we don't own it. So, and this is what I was thinking with ChatGPT. I was like, in the event that I give it some sauce and the sauce is $1 million or $1 billion idea, who is to say that a big corporate machine can't say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick that little piece and that right there make me another billion. And there could be an idea that's in our head that we ran by the AI, but we don't own the rights to it. So that means we automatically signed up for whatever happens on that platform. It's like an OF girl trying to sell a car wash. Whatever you do on that platform, you're going to agree to how much money they take for the transaction. You're going to agree to how you talk on their platform, because some platforms don't want you to talk a certain way. The reason I'm revolt from doing a live right now from the laptop on TikTok, I don't know if I said something, did something, and I didn't go stream enough, but right now I cannot stream on TikTok, right? It's not, I'm used to this. That's why I got multiple platforms. But anyway, back to the story. They asked him to go in the studio and write all of these songs or sing all of these songs in different styles. And then they could use his digital DNA to train the AI to do whatever. And this is in the paperwork. This is in the paperwork. We want you to do that for that. He said, bruh, did you read this? And this is where I'm like, did Millie Vanilli and them not tell you? Did TLC not tell us, read your contracts? We keep seeing the same game being played over and over, but everybody keep diving in the hole. Y'all are going to dive in the deep sea. So he asked the engineer, he says, wait, you don't think this is a big deal? So the engineer said, no, I don't think it's a big deal. Go ahead and just do it. It's good money for the day, bro. So he's like, wait. Okay, it might be good money for the day, but what happens after I leave the studio? Have you thought about that? So and this is where I want youngins to just pull the chair up. I want youngins to come close because y'all are signing the dumbest contracts ever. What's okay? Let's flesh this out. And the artist's name is Hugh Brown. That's who was they hired to come to the studio to train AI how to use his voice to make songs, right? Let's flesh this out. Who is to say that after his digital data and his digital DNA is uploaded to the AI learns how he does stuff. The AI learns how. I think they'll even use his vocal tone. Like that's that's in the agreement. I'm gonna be able to use your vocal tone and your likeness to produce music. Now, there is no limit to the music that can be produced. There is no limit to the music that can be produced. So case in point, what if somebody that's over in Jamaica or somebody that's over in China or somebody that's over in Australia, they pull up whatever the AI was that he was gonna be training, they pull that up and make a smash. They come up with one of them bangers, one of them joints that would chart over and over and over and over and over and over, right? What happens for the original person that they use his data to train that AI for that person to make a song with all this stuff? Nothing. He got paid for that one session. Hopefully everybody's following me. He only got paid for that one session. Buddy over here made a smash with his voice. Now that means he's not owed no extra money. The original artist that they use to train the AI he's not owed no money. He already signed off on the agreement legally. So this is what I'm looking at now. I see so many artists, and this is why I started this platform for y'all. This is why I started the platform for y'all. Because there has to be some breaking point where all musicians start to I hate to say it, but focus on the money. Focus on figuring out how to make a sustainable living, because most of the people that's super talented, most of the people that's super talented are going to go for that deal. And it ain't even a deal, it's a 1 day payout. So you're gonna go to the studio for that 1 day so you can go ahead, you can use that money to pay your rent. And this is where the issue lies. Because everybody gets so hard up and everybody's so freaking creative and making all of this dope music, but ain't nobody focusing on getting to the bread. That's what I'm trying to help y'all out. All right, so now, of course, he ended up walking out the studio. He thought it was stupid that the engineer didn't even read the contract. The engineer's just like, yo, just do it. Like, they hired me for the day to record you, so just go ahead and do it. Like, just do it. Stupid. On my side of things, when I looked at the paperwork, and this is funny, I don't know if they just have a general person that just sends general emails out, but they don't. They clearly don't know my platform. So what? These are the questions that I asked Suno. I said, all right, if I were to produce all of this music for y'all, and you don't want me to post it, you don't want me to register it with BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, whatever, and you don't want me to put it on DSPs, then that means you technically have all of the rights to the music. And you have all of the rights to market the music however you want to market. Because guess what? If I just give them the sauce, I don't even have to be nowhere. So now that means I have trained AI to be me. I'm fighting against myself by putting my stuff on the platform. Now this is again back to what we originally said, then we're gonna get to the first subject. Back to what I originally said. I think at some point all of the big companies are going to buy into some type of AI, right? Every company is going to buy into some part of it. So I think it's up to us to figure out, okay, what am I willing to deal with? What am I willing to deal with? Am I willing to deal with somebody taking my stuff and I get paid a smaller amount? Or am I willing to deal with getting paid up front and not get nothing on the back end and not own nothing? Or am I going to just bow out gracefully and go into another industry? Right? Now, this is the thing. I don't think there are no wrong answers. I don't think there are no wrong answers. Everybody has their own convictions. Everybody knows what they're willing to do. I think these are hard conversations because I feel like I'm squashing on people's dreams, and I'm not. That's not my motive. But I think at some point there are always little tea leaves in between our lifespan that let us know we're in the middle of doing something right, doing the right thing, right? Case in point, if you would take me back in, we're gonna say 1996, all of my youngest, shut up. I am a 1900s baby. But say like in 1996 or 1997, um, I was always told consistently, "Oh nah, you fire. You're that. But boy, you gonna be boy when you get older, you are gonna be crazy. You gonna right." I heard that over and over and over and over through my lifespan until I started to not hear it at all, and then I became competition. Right? For me, I never looked at it per se as competition because I said everybody has their own talent, everybody has their own skill set. Right? Everybody is not going to. I don't expect Metro Boomin to be the best at making soul music. Put it like that. If you now, I think it would sound dope, right? I think he can produce whatever he wants to produce, but in its natural habitat, in its natural context, I expect Metro Boomin to make music that'll be dope for Future, that'll be dope for Lil Uzi, that'll be dope for Migos, Offset, that'll be dope for maybe even the Outcast record. I can see Metro Boomin do a Outcast record, but in general, that's his skill set. If you come to me, people expect me to do something that's like for the Roots or something that's for Nas or something that's for Jay. Right? It's okay. That is our special skill set that we bring to the table. What happens when you take all of that away? And that's where my issue has always lied. What happens when you take all of those skill sets away and I say, I want you to do a beat like da 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 da? That's why it always pisses me off when people would come to the studio back in the day and say, can you produce me a beat like da da da? Then they play the beat and I'm like, yeah, I could do it. I could do it. I'd rather produce something that's in your space. And then even with this, and this is another thing, and I promise you we're going to get to the first one. Another thing, if I were to produce a song for somebody and I produce that music based off of what they're currently going through, I produce that music based off of maybe something that reminds me of them from back in the day. Case in point, it was a dude that came in the studio. This is probably about 4 years, no, probably about 5 6 years ago now, right before the pandemic. Dude came in the studio and he had some records that was smacking. I was like, oh, that's hard. That's dope. I said, what do you pull from when you create these songs? So he was just like, yeah, I pull from this, and that. And everything that he said, I was already thinking in my brain about this artist. I said, well, I said, do you know who Rick James is? Or do you know like anything about Vanity Six or like that whole movement, Mars Day and the Time? You know anything about that? He's like, yeah, I listen to that all the time. I was like, see, and this is the thing. This is the thing, and this is why I say everybody has a certain space. You don't have to try to make yourself fit into anything, right? I said, well, if you listen to Prince and Vanity Six and Mars Day and the Time and all it and Cameo, you listen to these records. Why don't you produce? Why don't you make music that's kind of in that lane? He's like, man, I just ain't never came across a producer that knew how to do it. And I said, well, guess what? Now you got him. Now you got him. But this is the thing. It wasn't up for me to produce a song like Prince to put him on it. I had to figure out how to bring what was happening in the 80s. I had to figure out how to bring that to the 2000s and say, okay, this is what they did in the 80s. This is the music. This is the instrumentation that they would do. We can maybe take some of the patterns, but we got to recreate something new. We got to recreate something new. So now you think about it like this. What would it sound like if Prince were to do a song with Future? What does that sound like? And I think people just get caught up on doing what's hot, or they just get caught up on doing what's trendy. And don't nobody care about doing what's trendy. A lot of people care about what's new, what's fresh, what reminds me of something that brings back a nostalgic moment. Artists that have the ability to do that always wins. They always win. And I just want people to get smarter. I want people to get smarter. But anyway, I want to bring somebody to the stage because I think he was killing it. He was killing it. So this guy right here, this guy right here, I love everything he does in the tech space, and he comes from music business. His family comes from music business, right? Anybody ever heard of Isaac Hayes? I'm sure everybody's heard of Isaac Hayes. Like, of course. Isaac Hayes Jr., I would say, is our Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, I think that's good. That's safe to say. Mark, I think Isaac Hayes Jr. is black folks' Mark Zuckerberg, from the point of being tapped into where we are with technology, and from the point of being tapped into where we are with, I can't even think of when I got 1,000 things going on. It's not good. Hold on, let me get the app. Cause it is fan base. All right, especially when it comes to how he's created fan base and doing everything on the ground level. So okay, all right, let me do this because I don't think people understand why it's important for us to get behind people like Isaac Hayes Jr. And this is where I think a lot of black folk has messed up over time, right? So this is Uncle Nito pouring out his heart to y'all. I'm pouring out my heart to you and you. Ding, 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 ding. Well, Whitney at? I need Whitney. I'm gonna get the AI Whitney. But I think it's important for us to get behind people like Isaac Hayes Jr. because it's a lot of people that need the structure that he has with fan base, and a lot of people that need the knowledge and the wit that he has with fan base that'll help drive where we talk about the culture, right? Everybody talks about the culture. The idea of culture in most people's context, the way y'all say it, I hate it. I absolutely despise what y'all think culture is. Because when I think of culture, black culture, I automatically go to what's hot. all right, sneakers and um, what we do with media and the style that we bring for fashion, like all of that stuff is cool. All right, I got it. But most of that stuff does not contain structure. Most of that stuff does not contain any kind of strategy. I tell you what I mean by that. When you are to look at a Facebook, we're gonna go there. If you were to look at a Facebook and you see all of the different pieces that makes Facebook work, you're looking at the social media side, and this is watch this. The stuff that we consume the most of ain't even the biggest part of that platform. That is crazy. The stuff that we consume the most of is not the biggest part of the platform. I'm gonna tell you what I mean. So everybody goes on all of these platforms, right? Like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, right? And we go on there, we spend so much time on there, we're scrolling, and we're consuming, all right? As a consumer, as a person that's just using the platform, all right, it's cool. But now let's go a step further. What's in the inner workings of some of the platforms? What actually makes the platform work? How do the platforms get the money? All right, if you look at Meta, of course, they're selling ad time. They're selling ad time, and I'm gonna read that in a minute. Unspeakable J. I'm gonna read that in a minute. But you look at ad time. You look at the space of uh, how they pay their pay structure. You know, you're gonna get your IG check or your Meta check between the 1st and the 15th or whenever it is. I don't really look at them. I'll get them, but it's like, all right, it's so small. You don't even think about it, right? But you look at how they've structured the subscription models. And they say, well, look, all you got to do is you get your people to subscribe to your page, your channel, and we'll just pay you out whatever you set the price. You set the price. I'm an old white man. I'm an old white man talking to young. No, all you got to do all you got to do is just make the content. And you set the price, and people come subscribe to you. But they're not telling you all of the other inner workings of the platform. They want you to get the people over there to spend as much time as possible. And if they've now opted into subscribing to you on their platform, who does it benefit? The effing platform. Hopefully, I didn't talk over anybody's head. But if you've taken so much time to bring somebody to a platform, right? Let's put it in brick and mortar style. We're gonna put it in brick and mortar style. I'm gonna have a party at the club. The party at the club is gonna cost $20. I'm gonna say everybody what they say. Girls get in free before 10. All right, all right. But I'm gonna have this party at this club. It's gonna be $20 at the door, and when you get in, we good. But guess what? Even for the club, they don't really care as much about you getting people in the door and paying the $20 at the door, right? The $20 is just a little piece of it. Just like our content is just a little piece of the platform. What do they want you to do in the club? They want you to bring the people in. They're gonna pay $20 at the door. If you're at a strip club, they're gonna pay. You're gonna get charged at the ATM for pulling out money. If you want to eat some food, guess what? We got food. They're gonna have the wings and stuff over there. Guess what? If you want to throw some more money, just go to the ATM, get some more money out. What we gonna do? We gonna hit you with a surcharge. And everything is the same over and over and over on social media, on the social side of things. They want you to create as much content as possible. For what? To get more people over to your page. They say we reward people that's consistent. All right, okay, cool. I get that. Because consistency is rewarded, especially when you're talking about working out and all that stuff. Consistency is rewarded. Let's not get it twisted. I get that. But what they actually are trying to do is get you to go over to work your page 24 hours a day to get people to stay on their platform so they can do what? Put an ad in between. When they run them ads in between, what they do? Some platforms might pay you a little piece. If you look at YouTube, they're gonna pay you a little piece of it, right? In the form of Google AdSense, they're gonna pay you a little bit of the check. But on some platforms, Spotify, they're not gonna pay you nothing, and you signed off on it. You signed off on it from the get-go, right? So this is how I'm looking at everything. As going back to Isaac Hayes Jr. When it comes to fan base, immediately he started fan base from crowdfunding. Of course, I put a couple of dollars in there. Sure did. I put I put a couple dollars in there. When it comes to his pay structure, he's giving artists the majority of whatever they bring to the platform. A lot of these platforms might be busting it down 50-50, 80-20. It's just all of this stuff exists, but I feel like in order for us to be forward moving, we got to get behind somebody like Isaac Hayes Jr., right? And people more like him. Cause this is the thing. I'm not going to take the time to build a fan base. I'm not even interested in building a fan base, but I bring some people over there, and especially if I'm getting a piece of it. Case in point, all right. And I'm trying to break this down so everybody understands it, and then I'm gonna play his video. I might not even have no time to review no videos today, but if you're to the point where you can bring, let's say 10,000 people or 1,000, let's say you're to the point where you can bring 1,000 people to that platform, he's going to pay you off of that, and you're going to get paid on some royalty or some type of stock because he's made it open for people to put money in. What would have happened if all of us had the ability to put money into Meta back in the when did Facebook come out? I think 2000 something, 2003, 2004, whatever, right? Well, how does that look? If you had the ability to put $1,000 into Facebook when Mark Zuckerberg was in college, the bag, the bag, that is hold on, man, this freaking bag. It's a super bag, right? So this is what I see out of fan base, and I wasn't trying to make this a whole fan base ad because he ain't even. We need to holler at each other, bro. We ain't even talk. You need to holler at me. Let's talk. Let me see. Unspeakable J says, I believe that fighting for a higher cut plus residual is the only thing that makes sense. In addition to confirming our tag or unique AI signatures, track out our interactions and influence to be paid. So I agree. I agree 100%. What I would say in addition to this, because I think I was talking a little bit about that part, what you just said, and they killed my live. So I said, I'm talking about the wrong stuff. You talking about the wrong thing, right? Uh, that's my full fight. That is the whole fight for me because we know the technology is going to just get more and more advanced, right? I like people who did it. I think who did it first? Who did it first? Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo was one of the first people I saw to lease his voice out to a platform and like lease his likeness out, and he can get paid residuals off of whatever is created, right? And that was Jason Derulo. But I mean, look at what Jason Derulo is doing. Look at him. I mean, it's freaking him. Now you look at Timbaland, where I disagree with how the rollout has been with Timbaland. I do respect the move. Where I disagree with the rollout and what how people perceive it, right? Because it could have been a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna tell you what I mean. What was the first thing that came out? Timbaland with the AI artist, I think. Yeah, Timbaland with the AI artist. They were talking. What is the name of the producer that Timbaland stole the beats from? Because I don't want to just keep saying the producer. I want to credit him properly. So somebody in the chat, whether you're on TikTok, Twitch, IG, Facebook, wherever y'all at, where y'all watching from, please put the producer in the chat that Timbaland stole the beats from. But anyway, when Timbaland rolled out the idea of him signing the AI artist, I thought it was interesting, right? Now most people will say, "Well, nah, he's just stealing all the music from the people from music reviews." Where where the two and two makes complete sense. It makes complete sense for Timbaland to steal music from people from music reviews and train the AI to do that, right? Makes perfect sense, but in my head, I didn't see it like that because I did music reviews and a lot of music that I reviewed was terrible. It was really, really bad music. So I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, it is a high possibility that Timbaland stole people's music and trained AI. Or I might give him the benefit of the doubt. Did he use these people's music to train AI, just as trying AI out? Because this is how I look at everything. And I think all of my new producers, all my old producers can attest to what I'm about to say. When you first get, and this is how I'm looking at AI, right? This is how I'm looking at it. Now, there is a whole nother part of it with ownership that's the issue, but this is how I'm looking at it. Y'all remember what it felt like to get your first MPC, or you know what it felt like to get your first workstation, right? The keyboards, the workstation keyboards, or you remember what it was like to download Fruity Loops for the first time, right? Or FL Studios for the first time, or Pro Tools for the first. You remember what it was like to to download it for the first time and say, okay, I got this new thing, I got to learn how to use it, right? So in learning how to use the stuff, especially if you're thinking about an MPC, you got to learn how to use it. What do? You got to sample something. You got to find records. You got to find drums. You got to find all this stuff and then upload it to your MPC and download it to the pad and start using it. But until you did that, it was just a shell of a product, right? It was just a shell of a product, but it was still something that you really wanted to learn how to use. I'm looking at AI a little bit like that. That's a little bit where I am, right? The issue comes up where there are too many ways for the creative person to get got. It's too many ways for the creative person to get got. Taking it back to MPC world, right? Or what was my first one? The first one, SP1200. SP1200 was the first drum machine that I learned how to use. Shouts out to my uncle Winky. SP1200, right? He said you got to hold this down, and then the sound is gonna go here. And then when you done with it, when you lift your finger, the sound is gonna be on that pad. You did it. It's like, oh, look at it, that's pretty cool. I feel like that's where a lot of us are with AI. Now the difference with Timbaland has a brand. So instead of him just using the AI and learning how to use it, unfortunately, he's going to be partnering with the companies that's going to use us. And they're going to use him to shine light on it. Because this, even with the whole Suno and him stealing the beat, y'all don't realize as much as we talked about what they were doing, just shine light on that company. It made the company hot, maybe for the wrong reasons, but it still made the company hot. We all know about the brand. If you were to ask, what is the main app or what is the main AI instrument that somebody could use to make music today? Everybody's going to say Suno right now. They're going to say Suno right up front, right? Same thing with if I ask anybody, what is the best software to use or what's the main DAW to use if I want to record vocals and I want them joints to be crispy and I want them to be industry standard, ready straight out the box? Everybody's going to say Pro Tools. Most people gonna say Pro Tools, right? So of course now granted, we do have other software. We got Logic, we got Cubase, we still got New Windows. We got a lot of these other softwares, true. But if you ask everybody to name the main one, what do you use right now? Everybody's gonna say Pro Tools. I think that's the space that Timbaland is doing for Suno. I think that's the space that he's cultivating for Suno. Right. So let me go to this. Let me go to this video with Isaac Hayes Jr. because I like his take on publishing, his take on royalties, and a lot of this stuff I've already talked about. I just thought it was interesting for somebody like him to mimic a lot of the same sentiments. I've always called publishing deal pawn shops or publishing companies pawn shops. I've always called them that, right? Especially after doing my first deals. My first publishing deal, I was like, oh, that's how that works. That's nasty. I don't like that. I feel nasty. All right, here's Isaac Hayes Jr.
Is basically a pizza. You cut it in half. Half of it is publishing. The other half is writing. Writer shares. The publishing side has all the legal control to say who can and cannot use that music. Simultaneously, whatever money comes to the publisher, they get paid. Mm-hmm. By law, they split that with the writer. Mm-hmm. So if $100 comes in, whoever the company is pays the publisher $100. It's up for the publisher to pay the writer the $50, and they keep the other $50. Mm-hmm. So that's typically what happens. So in situations like that, a lot of times publishing companies will come along and purchase the rights for a length of time, years, for the publishing that you're going to make off songs and give you an advance, not knowing whether you're going to be an amazing songwriter or a crappy songwriter. It's an investment.
Yep.
But imagine I give you $100,000 for 50% of your publishing, right? So now it's four people. Four. It's like, I get the publishing, you get your writers. We're splitting that, and now you go on and make $60 million writing songs over the next 10 years, and I just gave you $100,000. That's why it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying. It's the worst loan ever. If I could explain it, if I could explain a publishing deal, I can explain a publishing deal like this. It'd be terrible. Let's say you had a pizza restaurant and you had $1 million worth of pre-order.
Oh, we just cycled back through it. But did everybody hear that? Did y'all hear that? I hope y'all heard that. So this is a back and forth that I've had with a lot of my industry colleagues. I'll say it like that. This is the back and forth that I've always had with them. I think after you do your first publishing deal, my first publishing deal was back in 2011. I think 2011 was when I did my first publishing deal. All right. What I learned in that space was whatever they paid you for your publishing deal, you were already going to get on the back end at some point, right? Now, this is where social media and content and all the other things that we can do, this is when all of this comes in play. If you have the ability to create content, post the content, monetize the content. For me, even when I got my first $1, when I got my first dollar for where we go Meta, yeah, I go current day because I can go all the way back to like 2008, 2007, before I ever got any money for any music. Right, I remember all of this stuff. But let's say just bring it to current day. I remember when I got my first dollar from Meta. I was like, oh, so wait, y'all are gonna pay me to post a beat? And then I was like, okay, so the way y'all pay is the more you do this, we pay this. Okay, cool. I like that idea. It's a cool idea. But for me, I'm always looking at the inner workings. Why were you able to pay me whatever you paid me to do whatever the task was you had me to do? When we take it to real estate world, I understand completely why people would pay me to do to replace their kitchen floor. I understand completely why people would pay me to do what up, Kay? What's up? What up, Derek? What up? What up, Melvin? I understand completely why certain people would pay me to do um, an accent wall in the living room or an accent wall in the bedroom. I understand completely why you would pay me to do this stuff because I do this. It's a part of what you have. You own it, and I leave. I gave you the service. I had to buy materials. I had to provide time. I had to provide resources via workforce, right? Whether it was me and another worker, or I sent some workers over to the house or whatever, right? I understand why you pay for that. That's a service. When it gets to content world, this is when it gets fun. This is when it gets fun. And this is a mentor of mine, Myron Golden, would say the highest level of like earning income or creating wealth and all that stuff is from your mouth or from the thing that you create. Whatever you create, that's like the money maker, right? But everything else, it has a limit to it. With me as a contractor, I'm limited to how many people I could see in one day. I'm limited to how many properties I could personally pick up, right? It's a limit to it, right? Even if I had a staff of 100 people, it's still limited to the 100 people, and I'm limited to how much money I can make because I got to pay the staff. The staff has to get paid, right? When it comes to content, though, this is what's cold, and this is why I keep having all of my producers, all of my singers, all of the creative people. Even if you got a freaking bakery, this is why I keep wanting everybody to create more content. Case in point, y'all have all heard the idea of making money while you sleep. The idea of I'm gonna post this thing, I'm gonna do this thing one time, and I'm gonna get paid off of it over and over forever, right? And when you see the flip and the correlation, you're gonna be like, oh, Cold. I see it now. I get it. All right. Case in point. Somebody just called me. But case in point, we almost up too anyway, so it's cool. But case in point, if you were to look at how music business is set up, right? Everybody does the same thing over and over, right? They'll start a company, they'll give you a they'll give you hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta respond. All right. See, that's 9 to 5. I still gotta respond. But anyway. What happens is you look at music business. You look at Universal, you look at Sony, and you see how they've structured their stuff. You see how many people get signed to labels. You see the fact that they have different genres. So Universal Music Group might have country, they might have pop, R&B, rap, gospel. And this is a whole just branches, right? Who's creating the music? Who's creating the music? The artist, right? It's not rocket science. The artist, the producer, songwriter, all these people create the music. That's what I would say. That's the bottom tier. That's like the laborers. That's the guy that goes out and do the job. The guy that actually paints. Now, this is the thing. That person is still gonna make a bag. If we were to do a flip on a house, and let's say the paint was one of the cheapest line items that had to get done, that painter is still gonna get paid good money because he's charging me based off of his skill, right? But the person that makes a lot of the bulk of the money is the investor. The person that invested in it, and then how are they making more money? They're gonna say, all right, cool, we finished this one. We're gonna go to the next one, and we're gonna flip that one, then we're gonna go to the next one. Oh, you know what? We're gonna hold this one. Uh, in music business, them holding that one is you too. In music business, them holding that piece of property, that piece of real estate that's worth a lot of money is Beyonce. It's Drake. It's them holding that legacy act and saying, okay, we're gonna no matter what happens, this legacy act created a catalog of music that's worth a certain amount of money that we can eat off of forever. We could eat off of what they did forever. So now it goes back to the idea of ownership. Okay, cool. If we were to own the majority of all of the stuff that we create, who makes the legacy act money? The person that created. But it's still up to us to make whatever we create hot. How do you make stuff hot? I'm glad you asked. Simple. Ads. Get really good at what you do and start paying for ads. Start paying for Google ads. Start paying for Meta ads. Pay for the things that you know that's going to push you forward. I think a lot of the times people know exactly what they need. If I were to ask you right now, what is the main thing that you're missing that'll take you to the next level? What is the main thing that you're missing, or the main thing that you're not doing right now that could take you to the next level? Most people can answer that question. I'm going to tell you how to answer it. It's normally the thing that's the most uncomfortable thing ever. I'm not used to talking to people. I don't want to talk to nobody. So, I mean, for me not being able to talk to people, that's probably holding me back. Well, if you know that that's a thing that's holding you back from getting to this next level, I would practice talking. Or it's a person to say, look, I ain't never really been good at finance. I ain't never really been good at money and like resource. I ain't been good at that. Well, guess what? It's classes, it's courses, it's people that's doing stuff and teaching you for free online how to get to it. But for us to live in the excuse, it'll just keep us there forever. Living in the excuse never will get you nowhere, right? So my last thing, and this is more of the labels creating superstars and them not wanting to sign them. Oh Lord, my time is about out. But labels creating superstars and them not wanting to sign certain people or build mega artists. It's a reason for it. It's a reason for it. Let me bring this clip up. And this will be the last clip we cover. If y'all got any questions in the chat or y'all got any interjections, just holler at me. Let me know. And I think I saw something on Twitch or whatever. So I'm gonna go back over there in a minute. And yeah, we're gonna go there. All right. So anyway, this is Irv Gotti, and this is a guy that's what's this content creator's name? Oh yeah, this is Chris Gotti and Demeza and No Jumper. It's a whole interview with Irv Gotti's brother talking about labels treatment towards artists. Now they're not creating superstars no more. It's a reason for it. This is the reason, and I love how he broke it down. It's real. He's efficient. He's really good. All right, but anyway, here you go. I thought it was. No, no, no. Wait. Here it goes, right here.
Want any more superstars.
Because of the label's lack of participation in creating that star, they don't want to support you the way they used to create that superstar because you're going to use that power against them.
That is Chris Gotti, music executive most known for founding Murder Inc. Records in 1999 with his brother Irv Gotti. But what he is talking about is backed up by data by the big three music labels, Universal, Sony, and Warner Music Group. Over the last 5 years, the big three have spent well over $25 billion on scouting talent. Because of social media and all the one-hit wonders who come and go daily, it all makes sense. But it goes even deeper. Lucian Grange talked about how powerful it can be managing a superstar, saying it shrinks their royalty rates by 35 to 50%. So yes, it's great to have a star, but that means less money for the business. And the data shows year over year that the top 10 songs take less and less market share, meaning there's so much music and content out there that the biggest stars aren't as big from a number standpoint as they used to be. So labels are leaning towards having more semi-successful artists over a few powerful ones. In other words, they want to retain more control. For example, Halsey exposed Universal.
Notice what they just played. That was Casanat. That was not an artist. That was Casanat. Why do y'all think they put Casanat on there? It's the same deal. All of it's the same deal. But anyway.
So in 2022, that they wouldn't release her new song until they faked a viral TikTok before releasing. And Halsey sold over 165 million.
Notice what he said. I don't want to let that skip over everybody. They faked a viral moment. They purchased a viral moment. So and this is why I'm like, you got to be in whatever you're doing for the long term. Like you just got to tap into whatever that is going to keep you going and keep creating the content. Because when we see people hit 1 million viewers or we see people hit 1 million likes or 1 million whatever, right? Most of the time that stuff is arbitrary, which means it's purchased. It's purchased. So the stuff that always lasts, that always goes past that first week of whatever, those are the people that's been doing it for real. Case in point, you look at the Clips album, right? The Clips have not been doing marketing and putting out album after album after album and on everybody's podcast and on everybody's late night show, Jimmy Fallon. They have not been doing that over the past couple of years. They've been chilling. You got Pusha T that's been out with Kanye. Then he went from over there with Kanye to being over there with Pharrell. And like you seen them do life in their own way. You saw Malice do the Mary Mary stuff a few years ago. Then he dropped the gospel album or Christian project. But we've seen people do other stuff, but we have not seen them do what they're doing today. Right? Today they put the battery in the back and they went with the label and all of them and they got their money. You know what I mean. Right? But I don't expect the Clips album sales to decline no time soon. Why? They have the fan equity built in. They have the people from my age group and that was in college that was the everybody remembers grinding and beating on the tables in the lunchroom cafeteria. We all remember doing that, right? Guess what? That was them. They were attached to that moment. They were attached to everybody coming out on the football field. And we all remember these moments. So therefore, when they drop more music, of course, I'm at least trying to listen to it. But look, we're going to listen to it just off of the legacy act, right? Just off of it being legacy. What happens when the music is actually good? If the music is actually good, in addition to them being a legacy, now is out of here. So now this is the beauty. This is the beauty, and I got to get out of here. This is the beauty in everything I'm saying right now. We are in a space with social media where everybody has a even playing field, right? Everybody can create an IG page today. Everybody can create a TikTok page today. Everybody can create a Twitch page today and start streaming whatever you do. Right? A lot of people follow me in my stories, and I think it's funny, honestly. Like, I've actually seen my stories go up to 400 people in the last couple of weeks or so. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. But I think it's cool that we all have the ability to reach out to people current time. You don't have to wait to try to book a interview with the news station, or you don't have to wait and try to get your money up to get on Jimmy Fallon. Like, you can literally start your page right now and start creating your content right now and go through all of the head bumps and all of the bruises that you got to go through to get good as a content. You can do all this stuff right now, real time. And guess what? You can monetize the pain. That's the coldest part ever. That is yo. This is what I'm saying. Is okay. All right. Let me slow it down. Let me put it in my context. When I say you can monetize the pain, this is what I mean. Back in 2000, what was that? 2009, 2000, yeah, 2009, 2010, because I came to Atlanta 2011. Yeah, so 2010, 2009, right? I was in the middle of going through a foreclosure, right? Simultaneously, while I'm going through a foreclosure, car gets repoed. Simultaneously, while the car gets repoed, going through foreclosure, I get the call that Eminem got the beat, and Eminem is rapping on top of the beat. Simultaneously, I'm figuring out ways to get to New York and get back and have it say, yo, you got to bring the session. And these are stories that I've told over and over before, but I want to put it in context when I say monetize the pain, right? Right now, I can only tell you the story of what happened and how it happened, and I can try to be as vivid as possible, and I can try to be as detailed as possible with telling the story of me going broke and the repo man and this. I can only try to give you as much as I can right here, just telling the story. But what would have happened if I had a camera? What if I had a camera rolling at the same time? And you actually see the foreclosure, you see the repo, you see me going to the law office and paying the lawyer the $3,000, and you see me getting the $3,000 up and all the stuff I had to do to get $3,000 and still foreclose. See, and this is the stuff that people don't think of when it comes to content. This is why I think everybody has to put a different framework around how we see this stuff. Right? Because it is very powerful for somebody to be able to see the pain in somebody and then to see how they came up. So now if you group all of that stuff and you see the foreclosure and you can just read through the book, right? And you can see all this stuff happening in the book. And then you see me land the M placement. Then you see me land how much the beat was. And you see me going crazy and say, yo, I ain't never made 20-some thousand dollars off of one beat. And you see all of this stuff, and you see the different trips I make after the come up, and you see purchasing real estate. And this is what everybody has to get to the point of being comfortable with either showing or telling a story. Showing or telling a story. Stop cosplaying. We got to stop cosplaying as successful when you know you ain't that just yet. Or you know you got a little bit of success. That's why you'll never see me talk like I am Steve Harvey or Tyler Perry just yet. When I get there, I will talk like that though. when I get there, I will be talking like that. Yo, man, how much you make? Oh, man, we did 10 billion this year. Like, what you mean? I've been him. But honestly, we got to get to the point where we're comfortable with displaying pain in person. We got to get comfortable with that. Sometimes you ain't good. Sometimes you ain't all right. People ask you straight, bro? Sometimes it's up. Hey, bro, I'm effed up right now, bro. Right now, present day, I'm effed up, but I'm gonna be good. Give me a couple weeks, I'm gonna be good. I promise you, we gonna be good. But this is hopefully y'all enjoyed today's show. I'm going over. Hopefully y'all enjoyed today's show. Everybody on Twitch, everybody on IG, thank y'all. Everybody on TikTok, thank y'all. I mean, YouTube, thank y'all. I got a little bit of housekeeping. First off, it's coming up. Say something coming up. Thank you. The first thing that I got coming up is going to be my mentorship program. I talked about this in my stories. I've had a few parents to reach out because they did have some kids that's interested. So this is what my mentorship program consists of. All right. I couldn't almost get that out. My breath wouldn't let me get it out. It's like, boy, I'm so glad I don't smoke Black and Mouse no more. No, I'm playing. But so what I'm doing with my mentorship program, we're primarily focusing on um, 6th through 12th grade. 6th through 12th grade, we're teaching kids how to produce beats. We're teaching them theory. We're teaching them how to start podcasts. We're teaching them how to be executive producers. And then we're also teaching them how to get their LLCs at the end of, if you do the paid mentorship program, because it's a free one and it's a paid one. But if you do the paid one, then you leave with a LLC at the end of it. The kids leave with the LLC at the end of it. So imagine all these middle school, high school students got their LLCs, they got their bank accounts. They're ready to roll and actually do real business as kids. They're ready to get it done. But there's one thing I got coming up. So the mentorship program, if you want to be a part of that, make sure you send an email to No More Starving Artists. And I'm gonna put it at the bottom if you're watching this on YouTube on playback. But send the email to No More Starving Artists, say interested in mentorship program. Next, I got Lucrative Community. Lucrative Community is for my adults. All my adults that want the sauce from me. And you want me to coach y'all every month and go through different strategy on how to build all your stuff. Guess what? Lucrative Community is here. It's right here. So make sure you send that email to Mad Network Ads. Mad Network Ads. Mad Network Ads. And lastly, if you are a business and you want to sponsor or you want to promote your business on this platform, make sure you send your business information to Mad Network Ads. Mad Network Ads. Now, this is what I will tell you. I do have different packages. I got free packages. I'm going to always attempt to give people an option for free because I think a lot of people use that as an excuse for not doing something. So for me to just eliminate that option from y'all, I give you a free option. But I have a free option and I have paid options. And it's just more detail. With the paid option, I am helping you per month or for the week or however you pay for it. I'm helping you figure out how to get all of your stuff together. So if you ain't got no website, you ain't got no social presence, you don't know what content to post, I'm coaching you through a lot of this stuff, right? But anyway, that is available right now. So just hit me up. All right. And until next week, I'll holler. Peace.